The following program is only meant to be taken seriously, and is in no way sarcastic or satirical. Please be advised. Sugar-Free Trip by Ryan Lowry. So 136. This world can get pretty confusing, and thinking for yourself can get incredibly tiring. When you get tired of thinking yourself, maybe it's time you try Buddhism. Buddhism is like thinking, only better. Before you can use Buddhism as a crutch, it's important that you know a little bit about his history. First of all, is Buddhism a religion or a philosophy? Intellectuals have debated this for centuries. Here today we will settle it. Are there any rituals or funny outfits? Yes, well then it's a religion. Are there mystical ramifications to the mythology of the protagonist's works, words, and deeds? Yes, then it's a religion, a cult, a mindfuck, a manipulation of emotions for gain. Buddhism is a cult, but it's an entry-level cult that you can quote to appear far more intelligent than you actually are. Here is how Buddhism works. Like all religions, first you take an ordinary man who lived very long ago that very few people knew, and or had any actual tangible evidence that they ever existed. You take that special, borderline fictitious person, then you apply supernatural qualities to that person. Buddha, the myth begins. 500 years before the supposed birth of Jesus, there was a young man named Siddhartha, and he was magical. He was born in Nepal, and because he was born a boy, his parents didn't think about throwing him off of a cliff. The night that he was conceived, his mother, the Queen Manananat, Manananat, dreamed that an elephant with 6 tusks could dance the kuchiku and lambada like there was no tomorrow. 10 months later Buddha was born, which is odd that it took so long, because normally those people are on time if not early, and he grew up spoiled because his father was the chief of the tribe. Gautama Buddha grew up and married a hottie, and she spit out a couple of units. And one day, meditating under a tree, Buddha realized that most people are gullible and selfish, and can be manipulated very easily. The worst thing that you can do in life is speak directly to people. This frightens and intimidates people. Instead of speaking directly to people, use vague, often meaningless imagery, and broken fortune cookie style of dialogue for the illusion of being profound. Convince a few chumps that you'll be back from the dead to check up on them, and let fringe radicals make up the rest, and voila! You've got yourself a faith-based initiative. As part of your new cult, you'll want people to perform a daily ritual which not only tranquilizes them but also reaffirms obedience. Muslims, Christians, and Jews do this by praying. Hindus and Buddhists achieve this subservient level of consciousness by meditating. Meditation equals self-induced hypnosis. Once your religion is off and running, in no time there will be prophets and apostles who will make up stories and legends and apply to the progenitor's name, because after all we are talking about a product, and products require brand name recognition so that your followers will associate your very name with reverence and joy. Unlike being in the Nation of Islam or being a Christian, when you're a Buddhist you don't have to remember any verses or script nature but rather just remember to stick to the Zen Buddha formula. Criteria 1 remain vague. 2 mention nature, and 3 whenever possible use repetition. This will make your statement appear profound without actually committing to a specific point. For example, here is an old gem: before enlightenment chop wood and carry water, after enlightenment chop wood and carry water. Remaining vague. Check. Mention nature? Check. Repeat wording without committing to an actual point? Double check. Here is another example: the water flows, but back into the ocean. The moon sinks, but is even in heaven. Yeah, wow. Vague. Yep. Nature? Repetition of imagery? Sort of, but who gives a crap? As long as you mention nature and remain vague, you can assure people that you are a Buddhist and proud of it. Buddhism, it's like thinking, only better. 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 It's like thinking, only better. 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 Thinking.